This one is going to be about lessons I learned from a walrus. Okay, lessons I learned from a walrus. Now, a walrus is not really an animal that I identify with or particularly, say, liked above any other, as somebody that studied animals as a kid. But I remember this time when I was probably in high school, okay, that I was watching an animal face-off video, okay, and that's when two animals get together and they fight and they figure out which one is going to win, okay. And so when they actually did the animal face-off video, now I can't remember whether the walrus won or not. I think they might have, but it was facing off against an animal, okay. And what it did during the fight is it just moved its head up and down like this, it just that's what it did the whole time, And when I was looking at that thing, I made fun of it because it's like, that's all you gonna do. You fighting for your life and you literally just gonna do your head up and down like that, But over time I took and thought about that situation, okay? Over time I took and thought about that situation, okay? From the perspective of the walrus, okay? Because he doesn't have wings, he doesn't have speedy legs. He can't run like a horse or cheetah. He can't fly like an eagle, They can swim pretty well, but they got flippers. They can't grab nothing. They can't punch nothing. They can't really do much in that regard. But the main weapons that they have is their two tusks up front like this. And how they use those and employ those, well, they weigh over 1,000 pounds, so they're not particularly swift. So they gotta just move their head up and down. That's all they can do. But see, this is what I didn't think about. I was looking at it from the perspective of what I can do or what the animals that I like can do compared to it. But when I look at it in its own square, according to what it has, that's all it can do, okay? And so because that's all it can do, it works with what it has, okay? It works with what it has, and all it can do to defend itself is nod its head up and down. But you know what? Nodding their head up and down with them tusks is good enough to kill something. It's good enough for them to be able to hunt. It's good enough for them to be able to mate. It's good enough for them to be able to survive out in the frozen tundra, okay? And all they can do is move their head up and down for the most part, okay? That's most of what they can do. They can't grab nothing. They can't do any of that. But yet, they create a whole lifestyle out of the tusks that they have, out of the body that they do have, okay? And so there's a lesson in that, okay? And so what I found is when I was younger, there used to be people that I used to judge. I used to judge and say, why you doing that? I used to judge and say, why you ain't doing this? Why you ain't doing like this? Look at all these choices and things you could be doing. But from their perspective, that might be all they can do. And if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like that walrus, where you feel limited in certain regards, in certain respects, because of how you built, because of how your anatomy is, then you had to do the best with what you got. And the walrus is an example of a success, okay, with the very minimal, the bare minimal, okay, of maybe nature's physical talents, but yet they're able to build a lifestyle with it. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel limited, use what you got. If all you got is teeth, use what you got. If you can't fly, use what you got. If all you can do is crawl, use what you got. If all you can do is run, use what you got. If you can fight, use what you got. And then when you use what you have, then you can make a life out of what you've been given. And it can be a right life for what you have and who you are. That's my message on the day. You take care.